Let's turn to the United States, where Donald Trump's chief ideologue is under fire. I'm talking about his vice president, J.D. Vance. He was speaking at a university yesterday, and while there, he took questions from the public. One question stood out. It came from a young woman, reportedly of Indian origin. Her question revolved around immigration. But it addressed something deeper, something closer home for J.D. Vance. You see, J.D. Vance is married to a Hindu woman of Indian origin. Her name is Usha Vance. But the vice president himself is a Christian. It is a big part of his political life and style. Yesterday, he was quizzed about it. How does J.D. Vance reconcile with his wife's Hindu faith? What religion do his children follow? And how did they arrive at that decision? This is what he was asked. Listen to J.D. Vance's response.
And yes, my wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well. You know, everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way. But if she doesn't, then God says everybody has free will, and so that doesn't cause a problem for me.
Well, first of all, kudos to both of them. At no point did J.D. Vance refuse to answer, nor did he interject during the question. As uncomfortable as it was, the vice president answered, and that's something to applaud. But his response? Well, that was far from appropriate. It was riddled with double standards and inconsistencies. Let's look at two claims that he made. First, he is hoping that his wife will convert to Christianity one day. The idea itself is an outdated one, a bit like forcing your beliefs on your spouse. Of course, J.D. Vance did say that it's optional for his wife. He also said everyone should have freedom of religion. But then why make such a statement in front of the whole world? Doesn't that open up Usha Vance to scrutiny and pressure? Plus, she has spoken about conversion before. Let me quote her statement from last year. This is what she said. We had to have a lot of real conversations about how to raise kids when I'm not Catholic and I'm not intending to convert or anything like that. She said it in as many words. Usha Vance has no intention of converting, yet J.D. Vance publicly says he's hoping that she will. You can judge whether that was the right call or not. That's the first inconsistency. Secondly, he says he and Usha Vance were agnostic. And let me quote that again. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not in a particularly religious family in either direction. Again, this does not check out. Usha Vance has spoken extensively about her family's religion. Listen to her interview last year, and I'm quoting again, I did grow up in a religious household. My parents are Hindu, and I think that's one of the things that made them such good parents. That's what she said. She went on to call herself a practicing Hindu. Now, do you see the problem here? The picture painted by J.D. Vance is hypocritical. He wears his religion on his sleeve. He takes his family to church on Sundays. He puts his kids in Christian school. But his wife? Well, she is portrayed as an agnostic who will one day hopefully find Christianity. A, that is factually incorrect, and B, this tendency is problematic. You see, for J.D. Vance, religion is a political card. He is hoping to inherit Donald Trump's MAGA movement. And Christianity is a very big part of it. Conservative Christians are the core of Trump's base. If he alienates them, he has no future. And we've seen this before. Look at another Republican, Vivek Ramaswamy. He too is a practicing Hindu, and he ran for the Republican nomination last year. Do you know what kind of hate he was subjected to? He was a victim of blatant racism. Trump supporters called Hinduism pagan. They said it was un-American and demonic. We saw another example during Diwali this month. The White House held a special event to celebrate the festival of Diwali. And you should see the comments below those posts. Some of them target Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard. Kash Patel is the Indian origin FBI chief. Tulsi Gabbard is the Hindu intelligence chief. Both of them were asked to embrace Christianity. If not, they would go to hell. That's what they were told. And this is not some fringe ideology in the US. This is their ruling ideology. Even the vice president is afraid of it, so afraid that he's throwing his family under the bus. Of course, no UN report will criticize this. No European governments will question this. It's just another day in free and secular America.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.